because of the sacrifices that they had to give so that you could be able to say it. Because understand, when the Prophet came with that declaration, it was a revolutionary statement. Imagine the Kaaba, an Arab population, and 360 idols. 360 gods surrounding the Kaaba and inside the Kaaba. And they worshipped them. And they were devout to them. Like Khalid ibn al-Walid radiyallahu anhu says, my father sacrificed 100 camels on one instant for one idol. I want you to understand. I swear this to you. There's not a person here who has sacrificed 100 goats for Allah on one occasion. Forget about camels. He sacrificed has anyone sacrificed ever been in the butchery of a cow? Or, it's a tough job. 100 camels on one occasion for one idol. What does it show? Devotion, commitment, love, respect, adoration, admiration. They had it all. And how many of them? 360. And yet the Rasul comes to this people and says what? قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Say, all of this is false. None of this deserves worship save one mighty Allah. You still don't understand. You see, I'll help you. You see, the Arabs of those days were a sensitive breed. I'll give you an example. They say there was a person by the name of Amr ibn Kulthum. He was the chief of a tribe. You know, in Arab history, chief of a tribe. So there was another one called Amr ibn Hind. Amr ibn Hind was a chief, and the other chiefs had agreed that he is king. You see, very hard in a tribal system for someone to become king, because no one is half. Everyone says, how are you better than me? In democracy, easy, you know, you vote, khalas, someone becomes king. In a tribal system, good luck. So this Amr ibn Hind had become a king by the consensus of the chiefs. So big man. So Amr ibn Hind invited Amr ibn Kulthum to come with your family. So he came to Amr ibn Hind, to the king. So Amr ibn Kulthum is sitting in front of the king, and there's a partition, and his mother is on the other side, sitting with the women, and there the mother of the king is there. So the mother of Amr ibn Kulthum is sitting in front of the mother of the king. I want you to see sensitivities, you see. So the mother of the king asked her, can you pass me that pot? You know, that thing that carries water. So she considered this unbefitting for her, the mother of a chief, to go and serve this person, who's the mother of the king. So she says, in a language befitting the people of that time, she said, the owner of the pot has more right to it than me. Like, as in, it is yours, reach out, get it yourself. Sensitive creatures. So she insisted, the mother of the king insisted, please pass me that. So this lady shouted, "Oh, the dishonor of our tribe." From where? From the other side of the tent, behind the partition. The son heard the wailing of the mother. Now, when the king used to sit, you guys have been watching these Turkish series, you know, the Ertugrul and stuff, there's a sword hanging behind, you know, as a symbol of authority. So there used to be a sword hanging behind him, behind the king. So Amr got up, took the sword, cut off the king's head. Do you see? Cause what? Cause how dare your mom tell my mom to get a pot of water? Sensitive creatures and no rule of law. There was no government. Simple people, swords by their sides, tribal, to come to that population and say your gods are false. Oh, it required courage. It required oomph. You know. And then when they said, what? And our forefathers, what about them? So the Quran said, لَقَدْ كُنْتُمْ أَنْتُمْ وَآبَاؤُكُمْ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. You were wrong, your forefathers before you were wrong. To what population? An Arab population. And that time, so the natural reaction was, you know, feathers were ruffled, people got upset, abuse started, insult started, torture started, imprisonment started, assassination started, execution started. And you read the stories of what happened to Bilal and Ammar and Yasir and Sumayya. You know, you saw what happened. So the Muslims, the early community who believed in the Prophet, bore the brunt of this for some 13 long years. 13 years they bore this. And although hijrah has been allowed for them and some started to migrate, the Rasul hasn't been given permission to migrate. Can I teach a few lessons? Huh? Habibi, you need to say yes so I can teach the lesson. So, lesson number 1, courage. They say whatever you want is on the other side of fear. You know, sometimes a person is very talented, has got great ideas, great skill. He can really go make something, become something. Yet because of fear, he's stuck in a job he doesn't want, in a work he doesn't want, in an employment he doesn't want. If he had the courage to go take the first step, take an entrepreneurial step, he could become the next very big thing. But what holds him back is fear. Do you understand? And sometimes a person wants to get married to someone and it takes a lot of his headspace, yet all he has to do is to go propose, it would have been done. Do you understand me? Fear holds us back from a lot. From this, learn that courage is a component of the nature of this deen. You have to have heart. And yet when I say that, I don't want the young to misunderstand me. I'm not saying have stupidity, I'm saying have courage. Because I don't want a young person walking out of here, you know, outside someone tells him something, no, I have courage. The Sheikh said, have courage, now come here, Habib, let me share. That's stupidity. Courage to be able to overstep your fears and do what is right in the situation that's in front of you. So sometimes there's a degree you want to pursue, yet fear is holding you back. Sometimes you're in an ugly degree that's not going anywhere, but your parents have pushed you to it. You know, my son, you will become this. I know people who have become engineers and whatever because their parents told them. And Allah knows there's not a bone in his body that knows anything about engineering. You know, Miskeen went because mom and dad said. He still needs help tying a screwdriver, you know, tying a nut on a screw. Wallah al-Azim, I've seen. Miskeen has no talent for it, but someone pushed him. Had he were to have the courage to say, nah, I'm not doing this, I like art, he would have become the artist of his time. I know. But fear holds you back. So have courage to do what is right and what needs to be done, and have courage to pursue your dreams, and have courage to take that initial step. Tawakkulan on Allah Ta'ala. First one. Second one, notice another thing, dear ones. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam preaches for how many years? In Mecca. Not in Mecca, I just said the number. 13 years. So when you have courage and you start a new business or you pursue a new career or you go to another country, whatever it is, don't do it accidentally, but when you do it, don't give up quickly. Because the Prophet relented for 13 years. So that's my second lesson. I'm going to ask at the end of this, how all the lessons? And if you don't understand that by the end of this. Right, what was the first lesson? Courage. Second lesson, persistence. Don't give up too quick. You know, you start a new training exercise. Say you start a new martial arts, you really like, say, Wing Chun, and you go start this after a while, and then you do 1 month of it, khalas, I'm not going anywhere. Or you start hifz of the kitab of Allah. I know a dear brother back home in Perth. He wanted to become a hafiz. So he sat there one day, and it didn't happen. At the end of the day, he wasn't a hafiz. So he shut it down. He goes, this can't be done, But do you understand me? Don't give up too quick. Persevere, persist, it will happen. Are you with me? So the Prophet ﷺ preached for 13 years. At the end of the 13 years, the Quraysh had it. We have to get rid of this problem. So they decided to assassinate the Prophet ﷺ. Only then the Prophet is given the permission to migrate. Tonight is not the hijrah, so I won't focus on this. So the Prophet migrated to Medina Almunawara. Now our calendar, mine and your calendar, starts from this day, from the hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ. At the time when Umar ibn al-Khattab made this calendar, there was the Jewish calendar, there was the Zoroastrian calendar, there was the Roman calendar. He could have followed the Christian calendar. Umar ibn al-Khattab started a Hijri calendar to teach me and you a lesson. Here's the lesson. Islam came to be followed, it has not come to follow. I will say it again. Islam came to be followed, it did not come to follow. I will say it a third time. Islam came to be followed, it didn't come to follow. And Muslims need to be the same. You go to a university, our sisters and our brothers, and you look around and you see people dressed a certain way. Remember, you haven't come to follow, you came to be followed. Have a strong sense of confidence in yourself and in your identity. You don't need to wash everything away just because the environment around you decides that they're this way. Get a chunk of gold, put it in water, gold is gold. Take the gold out, put it in acid, gold is gold. Take it out, put it in mud, gold is gold. Gold doesn't change. Get iron, take it out, put it in acid, it goes. Put it in mud, it rusts. Do you understand? Because gold and the rest need to be very distinct from one another. So understand, be gold, don't become raggedy rag. So whichever environment you decide to go, add value to it, make sure it accepts and understands the values you give to it, and don't swallow hook, line, and sinker whatever else everyone else seems to be throwing about. So the Prophet migrated, went to Medina Almunawara. The first year passed. Second year after Hijrah is the first time that Ramadan becomes compulsory. Fasting became compulsory. Which year? Of Hijrah. After Hijrah, second year after Hijrah, Ramadan became compulsory. In the same time, news came that a caravan of the Quraysh, the same people who had tortured them and killed them and imprisoned them and usurped their wealth and kicked them out of their home and family, now a caravan of the Quraysh was going towards Sham, the land of the Levant, Syria and that place. And Muslims decided that they will go and intercept the caravan. So you see, the time of the Prophet ﷺ, very wise people. So there used to be scouts around. You know what scouts? Information gatherers. And the Rasul had relationships with the local tribes that used to inform him that, listen, this is what's happening. These people are going, these people are coming. So the scouts brought information that a caravan of the Quraysh is going towards Sham. So the Muslims marched out. By the time they marched out, the caravan had gone. Can I stop here again for another lesson? Notice that the Prophet ﷺ used to act on information. You with me? Information is power. Knowledge is power. Whatever you do, get informed first. If you want to start a new business, for the love of God, do a feasibility study. Have a look, make sure that the thing is cash flow positive. Make sure there's enough people that can actually survive the business. Enough people in your do you understand me? Collect your normal information. It is the requirement of deen. Al-akhdhu bil-asbabi sunnah. Using the means available to you is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And everyone understands the power of information except for the poor Muslim. Do you want to see how important information is? You see, the Chancellor of Germany, I think Angela Merkel, her phone is bugged by another country. Why? Because information is power. Like they actually found that BBC News out, a few years ago, the Chancellor of her phone is bugged. Why? Because the other country understands that knowledge is power. I need to understand what is happening. Do you understand me? Now, I'm not talking about spying level for me and you, but I am saying in a normal venture of life, collect information. Get the expertise. Make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. So anyway, as the caravan's gone and they've missed it, they figured when it comes back, we will intercept it. Because what goes around has to come around. So it's gone, they'll come back. So news came that the caravan of Abu Sufyan is coming back. This is now the month of Ramadan. What day? 12th of Ramadan. On the 12th of Ramadan, the Rasul marched out. The first time, everyone's fasting, because the month of first Ramadan, that's compulsory. So they march 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. On the 17th is the confrontation. How many days did they march? 5. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17th, the actual confrontation happened. How many kilometers? 150 kilometers. 150 kilometers. The narration state, they had 70 camels. You see, it's easy to say seerah. Feel seerah. Feel the stories. 150 kilometers, 70 camels, 313 men. So every camel was shared between 3 or 4 people. The Rasul was sharing it with Ali ibn Abi Talib and another Sahabi. At this stage, how old is the Prophet ﷺ? So 40 became a prophet. 53 he left Mecca. 2 years later, 55. 55 years old. How long is he going to march for? 150 kilometers. Shared between 3 people. So how much is he walking? And how much is he riding? So 3 people riding 1 camel, 150 kilometers. So this person will ride for 50, another person will ride for 50, another person will ride for 50. Yeah? So each person gets to ride for 50. How much will they have to walk? 100 kilometers. You see, do this for me, lillah, lillah. Like on a weekend, go for a 20-kilometer walk. You know, you'll come back, my sister will be at home, your wife, and you'll be like, don't talk. You know, 20 kilometers I've walked, you know. You expect a normal, happy man after 20 kilometers, you will have issues. 100 kilometers walk, 50 kilometers ride. And even if I make you ride a camel for 50 kilometers, you won't be able to walk after that. So Ali radiallahu anhu, who's a younger man, the other Sahabi is a younger man, tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi, they talk to one another, says, listen, the Rasul is older, 55. So me and you will walk, we will let him ride. So when it came time to swap, so they say, Ya Rasulullah, we have decided you continue and we will walk. They say his face turned red in anger. Bi abi huwa wa ummi. He says, you are not stronger than me, nor are you in more need of ajr than me. Like I need the rewards as much as you need it, and don't think you're any stronger than me either. Can I stop for another lesson? Health and fitness, dear ones. You're required to be healthy and you're required to be fit. So at 55, set this as a good gauge. See if you can walk 100 kilometers. See if you can walk 5 days, you know, pretty much non-stop. And not with your shoes, because you've got Nikes and Adidas and that. They say our toenails fell off when we reached Badr. And the terrain is not, because you know, you daydream like nice rolling sands like the Sahara Desert. Now, rocky, volcanic terrain. So they walked 150 kilometers, and my plea to you, dear ones, is live lives that ensures that you're fit and healthy. And not only for the brothers. We have evidence from the seerah that our mother Khadija radiallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anha used to climb up the mountain with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a vertical climb, some 3 hours climb, and she was by consensus older than the Rasul. So some say 15 years older and some say 3 years older, irrespective, older than the Prophet, yet fit enough to climb a mountain. And ma'al asaf al-shadid, today, the only exercise we really excel in is this one. We do a lot of that. But you need to be fit and you need to be healthy. Next lesson, resilience. You know, to have the backbone to do the hard work. So we live in a time where people are very soft. You know, there's a little bit of discomfort, khalas, he's done for that day. You know, the aircon temperature is not right, he's finished, he can't work the next day, he needs a day off. You need to have resilience to be able to shoulder difficulty and walk through it. Because at the end of 150 kilometers, they didn't check into a hotel. they faced an army. It takes oomph, it takes guts, it takes courage, it takes physical ability, it takes psychological resilience, it takes emotional, all these strengths you need to develop, and develop it in your young. Don't bring up your children as little emperors and princesses. And at the same time, I don't want, because wallah, in this position where you teach, people take, as each person here will take a whole different idea of what I say back home, So someone will go and do really strange things like, become tough. I'm not saying that. And others will do other things, but I'm not. So the aim is to get your children used to a degree of discomfort. I'll make certain suggestions for you. Take them camping once in a while. So they go outside of the comfort and the, niceness of home, and they can live outside and try to survive outside in a nice tent and this and that, but get them used to that discomfort. Once every few days or once every few weeks or months, sleep on the floor. Like all of you together say, listen, we're going to sleep on the floor and see how this is, because the Prophet slept on the floor and, it made them resilient and strong these days. Let's see how we can do it. So these little exercises will develop subconsciously in the mind of your child these skills that they need for life. I read the story of one of the scholars of the past. He had a son for whom he had big dreams. He wanted him to become a big learned man, alim and this and that. But he knew that life is tough. So he used to go on long walks and he used to give 2 rocks to his son. 1 rock on one hand, 1 rock on another. The little man used to walk behind the dad. And when the dad used to notice he's lagging behind, which means the rocks have become heavy, so he used to say, drop one of the rocks. He used to drop one of the rocks, and then he used to hold 1 rock and carry that. Not big, to carry that. And then he used to see the son lagging behind because of, he's gone tired with the 1 rock. So he used to say, drop that rock. Now walk. So he used to walk without a rock till he gets tired and he's lagging behind. And then the father used to pick him up on his shoulder and take him the rest of the way. Through that, he taught him to be able to persevere and persist and keep going. And he became one of the great scholars who went and collected the hadith from around the world because, resilience was built into him. So the Prophet ﷺ marched out on the 12th of Ramadan. Now Abu Sufyan is coming, and the Prophet sent scouts ahead near the wells of Badr. Or, on the way, there's another water place there. The Prophet ﷺ sent the scouts there to come and inform us, let us know if Abu Sufyan has passed this place or not. Now Abu Sufyan is being very cautious because he knows the Muslim lands are nearby. So the scouts of the Prophet arrived at this water well, saw 2 women there. 2 women, 2 ladies were getting water from the well, and the scouts heard them talk. So they said, one of them owed the other some money. So she said, listen, in a couple of days the caravan's going to come. I will go work for the caravan. I'll look after the animals. I'll prepare food. I'll cook and clean. I'll get some money and I'll pay you back. So the scouts realized what? That Abu Sufyan hasn't crossed. He's going to come here any day. So they rushed to the Prophet ﷺ. If they had waited a little longer, they would have seen a lone rider coming from the horizon. And this is Abu Sufyan himself. So Abu Sufyan came to the same place, ahead of the caravan, to make sure a caravan is going to be safe. So when he arrived here, he saw the same 2 ladies. And he asked them, how are things? Has any strangers come? They said, no, just normal. And there was a couple of people that had come. They took some water and went. So he said, where? He goes, they were there. So Abu Sufyan went and saw animal droppings. because the horse or the camel. So he touched it and he goes, oh, the fodder of Medina. Like this is the food that the people of Medina give their animals. So he realized that they know I'm coming here and I have to change direction. So he rushed back and hired a man called Damdam. Told him, you will ride to Mecca. You'll tell the people that the caravan's getting attacked. And he paid him handsomely, like a good amount. So this man went on super speed towards Mecca, riding relentlessly. Abu Sufyan, instead of coming here to the water well, went that way towards the ocean and started to ride along the coast. The Muslims from here are walking down. Damdam has rushed towards Mecca. So Muslims are sure they're gonna come and we will intercept. Abu Sufyan has gone that way, away from this water, and Damdam has gone towards Mecca. Now as he's on his way there, inside Mecca, so this is Medina, Mecca. Inside Mecca, the auntie of the Prophet had a dream. She had a dream that someone's coming into the city. And the man is shouting, and people gather around him. And then he climbs up on top of the Kaaba, and people have gathered around him. And then he comes down and climbs up a mountain, and people go after him. And then on top of the mountain, there's a big rock, and he pushes the rock off, and the rock rolls down the mountain and shatters. And every house gets a splinter of the rock. So shocked by this dream, she woke up and told her brother Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. This is Abbas radiallahu, the uncle of the Prophet sallam. Naam ibn Abdul Muttalib. So Abbas radiallahu an told some other of the Quraysh. So they went and sat in the circle of the elders of the Quraysh, and they said, Abbas's sister had this dream. So Abu Jahl is there. So Abu Jahl said, O sons of Abdul Muttalib, isn't it sufficient that a man amidst you has already claimed to be a prophet? Now your women also claim to be prophet. Now your women are seeing dreams too. And just as he's finished, the next day, Damdam came in. And Damdam came in with full drama. So Damdam cut the nose of his camel, like slit it so blood could gush down. Dramatic effect. Shows panic. And he himself sits upside down on a camel to show bewilderment. And screaming, he comes, Ya Quraysh, your caravan, your caravan. And he's riding around your caravan, and very reminiscent of the dream. So the fever of war became pitch high, and the Quraysh gathered soldiers as quickly as they could, and 1,000 men fully clad in war and horses and stuff ready to go, and they marched out towards Badr. So now the Quraysh have come. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so the Quraysh obviously going to take a few days to come. These people a few days to go ahead. And as they're marching forward, they realize that caravan hasn't come. And news comes that an army has come from the Quraysh. Do you see the dilemma? Muslims went out 313, not to fight, to intercept a caravan. They're not equipped for war now. They're not dressed for war. Yet now, it looks like an army is coming against them. Think about this. If they run away, because they could just say, nah, let this be, we gotta go, like who's gonna fight an army? Islam will become a very soft target. Once you have an image of weakness, everyone will come and slap you. And the Prophet is aware. And if he goes to fight, there's only 313 ill-equipped people against the full army. So the Rasul sits down. عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم. And the Sahaba have gathered around him. Some are immigrants who came from Mecca. Some are Ansar who lived in Medina. So he says, Ashiru alayya ayyuhan nas. O people, give me your verdict. Give me an input. Give me your opinions. Can I stop here for a sec? Who is asking for an opinion? Huh? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was guided by divine junction at every step of his life. Like Jibreel, do you understand me? He couldn't migrate without Allah's order. Now this man, whose knowledge supersedes the knowledge of humanity, he is sitting and saying, please give me some input. Not because he doesn't know what to do. Ashiru alayya ayyuhan nas. Give me some opinions, O people. Do you see, dear ones? The Rasul could have easily said, this is what we're doing. But to teach me and you how to lead, he taught us, take the input of the people that are around you. So through that, capacity builds. Let me give you something to do. Next time you want to do something at home, imagine you have some money, you want to go on a holiday, or you want to buy something or do something. Get your children and your wife and everyone together and say, listen, I am planning to do this. What do you think? They will give you some crazy input that will probably annoy you because you're used to doing things your own little way. But if you have the maturity to listen to them and give them that respect, what will happen, instead of becoming entitled receivers, they will become your partners in thinking, and that will develop the ability to lead families themselves later on. They will not say the greatest ideas, but bear it. Recognize, I'm training the little ones. I am building capacity, because the Prophet knows that some stage I will move on. My ummah must be trained to be able to lead successfully. So the first to stand up was a man of the Muhajirun. And على اختلاف أهل العلم, some say it's Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So he says, O Prophet of Allah, march out and meet them. We are with you. So the Prophet made dua for him. He sat down. The Rasul says again, Ashiru alayya ayyuhan nas. Give me some input, O people. Another Sahabi gets up. Meccan. From Mecca, you know, they've migrated. So again, he said, O Prophet, move forward. Ala barakatillah, we are with you. The third person, a Makki, stood up. O Prophet, we will not tell you as the children of Israel told Musa, that go you and your Lord fight, we will stand here. We will tell you, go fight, we will fight with you. So Ibn Mas'ud says the Prophet's face, became radiant hearing this, but he says again, Ashiru alayya ayyuhan nas. Give me some opinions. Because notice, the ones that have talked are the muhajirun, are the immigrants. But the immigrants are not the hosts. The immigrants are the guests. The hosts are the people of Medina, or the Ansar, and the Ansar haven't said anything. You see, they came to Mecca, the Ansar, and they swore an allegiance to the Prophet, that we will protect you as we will protect our women and children when you come to Medina. Meaning what? If you're in Medina, you're under our protection. What is the problem? Huh? They're outside of Medina. They're no longer obligated by their condition. And the Rasul could have said, O people of the Ansar, tell me, are you with me? But la yaliq, for the majesty of a prophet to be like that, and no for the majesty of the companions to be asked like that. So the Prophet, bi adab, just hints, give me an opinion, O people. Give me a... So Sa'd radiallahu anhu stands. He goes, "Oh Prophet, it appears that you want to hear from us," as in the Ansar. So the Prophet said, "Yes." So he said, "We believed in you and swore to protect you from what we will protect our wives and children. So go forth, declare war on whoever you wish to declare war. Make peace with whoever you wish to make peace. Like who you like, choose to dislike who you like. Take from our wealth what you like, leave for us what you like. Wallahi, what you take is more dearer to us than what you leave. And if you were to walk into the ocean, we will walk along with you, and not a single person will stand behind." And then he said, "We are men hardy in war," because they had been fighting for a long time. "And go forth, it might be that Allah will show you through our prowess in battle what will please your heart and cool your eyes." So the Prophet said, "Then ala barakatillah, move to the wells of Badr." Here's another point. So they camped down the bottom. So the wells are here. The Muslims camped on this side. The Quraysh on the other side of the hill on this side. So as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Ashab were setting camp, one of the companions came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Listen, dear ones. So he says, "O Prophet of God, have you camped here because of revelation? Or is it an calculation of man and a strategy of war, and as such open to discussion? Like if it is divine junction, then no one will speak. But if it is calculation of war and open for discussion, then I have an opinion." So the Prophet said, "No, calculation and strategy of war, open for discussion. Give me your opinion." So the man said, "Ya Rasul, raise camp, move forward, take over the wells of Badr, so that the wells are behind you, so that when they come down tomorrow and the sun starts to rise, we will have water and they will not have water." So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for him, raised camp, moved forward. I want to stop again. Who listened to who? The Rasul of Allah listens to an ordinary human being from the Sahaba without divine guidance. You know, the Sahabi doesn't get wahy. The Prophet gets the revelation. Yet the Rasul listens to him. Not because he needs to, because he's teaching, because the Prophet at every step teaches the Ummah. So dear ones, listen to me. If you run a family or a business or an institution or an organization, and you have failed to create an environment of safety in which ideas can be brought up to you because you're too insecure, then you have gone contradictory to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like if whether it's a government or an institution or organization or a mosque, you must have the capacity to create an environment in which your people feel safe enough to be able to voice opinions to you. Because two heads are better than one. Many ideas are better than one. It's better to listen and take in and understand and then make the decision that you feel is right. And second point on the same issue. A lot of times we hear what is right, but our ego holds us back. You know, how could I do that? She told me. You know, in my line of work, I'm in a college, in a school, so a lot of my staff are female. And so I listen to them sometimes, and they say, some of them, they say at home, they have to sell an idea to the husband so he thinks it's his idea. And then he will do it, but she knows it's her idea. Because his ego will not allow him to follow his idea. It's an unfortunate place to be. Whilst where you want to be is in a place where you see the right as right and follow it, and everyone will love you for it. They'll say, MashaAllah, such a level of maturity that no ego, like when he sees right, khalas, he just follows that one. Are you with me? Very important lessons. May Allah Rabbul Izzah guide one and all, Ya Rab. So the Prophet ﷺ moved camped there. The Quraysh are behind the hill on the other side. And as they're here, climbing up towards this hill, because understand 5 long days of marching, Allah Rabbul Izzah did a fair few things for them. Number 1, Allah sent a light drizzle. A light drizzle. Now the land the Muslims were on, coming from, was sandy land. So when rain hits sand, it compacts. You know, it becomes harder than when there's no rain on it. You see, this goes a thicker, a denser surface, because when rain falls on clay, it becomes muddy and sticky. So Allah sent down a drizzle. The side the Muslims were coming on became hard. The side the Quraysh were becoming on was clay. It became muddy and sticky. So they were becoming annoyed, and the Muslims were being refreshed. Secondly, Allah sent down a slumber upon them. Everyone fell asleep. Like a little sleep befell them. And that sleep, with the rain, washed away the rijs of shaitan. You know, the pluck of being lethargic and tiredness and smack of shaitan that falls upon you. You can't be bothered, you can't get motivated, you can't get energized, you can't do. So Allah Rabbul Izzah taught us a couple of lessons, dear ones. When you feel down and you can't be bothered and you think you're too tired, go have a nice shower, and preferably a little cool one. You will feel energetic and alive straight away. And if that doesn't fix it, and it's the right time of the day, take a 7-minute power nap. You know, a little dose. I was in Sydney just last week, and I was doing a course 10 hours long. It's not as part of I wasn't teaching, I was learning. So one of the universities was running it, and because when I travel, my sleep gets really strange, so I couldn't sleep till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then 8:30 this class had started, and I was feeling very sleepy by midday. So I sat in an Uber, went to the hotel, and I only got probably 7 to 10 minutes sleep. Like just enough, got up and I was fully refreshed. So Allah teaches us, you see, Allah teaches. So now the Muslims are here, and they build a little shack for the Prophet ﷺ at the back. And they say, Ya Rasul, listen, here's a little shack for you. You stand here, and if the battle turns against us, there's a horse and a camel, sit on this, ride back to Medina. Because there are other Muslims who will protect you and take care of you. They didn't know to come because it wasn't compulsory. We just went to intercept the caravan. So the Prophet made dua for them, and then the Rasul sits there and goes into that shack, and he starts to pray. All night long the Rasul is crying, making dua. Ya Rab, protect this group. Ya Rab, support this group. Ya Rab, if these people are annihilated, you will not be worshipped on this land again. Ya Rab, support your religion. Ya Rab, honor your Prophet. And the Prophet, and he's crying all night. And Abu Bakr, radiallahu anh, the best friend of the Prophet, is outside. You know, the bodyguard of the Rasul on this occasion. Can you imagine if your younger brother cries, how your heart feels? Now the Rasul of Allah is crying, and how Abu Bakr's heart is feeling. So eventually he just moved the curtain and he came in and he goes, enough for Prophet, Allah has heard you. So as the Prophet ﷺ, as Abu Bakr came, the Prophet's face started to glow. And he said, he is Jibreel. And he says, Allah will give you one of two things, either the army or the caravan. The caravan might have missed it, but I see the army lying prostrate. Like it might be, like this is it. So, in the morning, the Prophet ﷺ lines the ranks of the believers. And the Quraysh start to get up and come from behind the hill on this side. You know, pomp and ceremony, beating drums of war, and ladies' songstresses singing, and poets proclaiming, and a lot of arrogance. And this group of 313, ill-equipped, hardly shoes on their feet, on this side, waiting to meet them. So the Prophet ﷺ says, glad tidings, Muslims. He is Jibreel, with a yellow turban, dressed for war. And the Quran responds, إذ تستغيثون ربكم فاستجاب لكم أني ممدكم بألف من الملائكة مردفين. Remember, O Muslims, when you called out to your Lord and Allah accepted your plea, and Allah sent down 1,000 angels in formation after formation for you. So this is the Muslims. On a hill nearby are a few non-Muslims. Two friends have come. They're watching the battlefield, hoping that when it's finished, they will go collect some swords, take some coat of armor, collect some war booty. And then one of them died on the hill. So they asked him, why did your friend die? He said his heart burst. Because why did his heart burst? Because out of fear. What fear? He said, we heard the neighing of the horses and saw the sparks on their hooves from the clouds above. Like, angels are coming, as the Quran says. And once the battle started, a Muslim would chase his opponent, and before he could even reach him, the thing's head flew off. Because angels were on battlefield. And subhanallah, and the Prophet tells them, he is Jibreel, and do you understand? The angels have come. And Allah Rabbul Izzah says, وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. Remember when I helped you in Badr and you were very weak. And remember, إِذْ تَقُولُ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَلَنْ يَكْفِيَكُمْ أَنْ يُمِدَّكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ بِثَلَاثَةِ آلَافٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُنْزِلِينَ. Allah Rabbul Izzah tells the Prophet, remember when you told them, would it suffice you if Allah sends you 3,000 angels? And if you're وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا, and if you're patient and have taqwa, يُمْدِدْكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ بِخَمْسَةِ آلَافٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُسَوِّمِينَ. Allah will send you 5,000 angels on top of this, and they see glimpses of them on battlefield. My background comes from Afghanistan, and there the Russians came in the 80s. With a communist regime trying to annihilate the country and take its religion and heritage, and local people stood up to resist. Local people, simple farmers, villagers, with the little things they had. And I know people who have seen, old men now. I was a little kid at the time, and in one place they came, like the whole huge red army, the communist Russian army of the time, with tanks and this and that, came through this area, through this village, this little city, suburb if you want to call it. And a few of the locals stood, the local brothers with their iman and taqwa stood up. And pretty soon this whole battalion surrendered to them. So these brothers tied them up, are marching them ahead. So they go, where's the rest of you? They go, what rest? This is it. They go, do you think we would surrender all this to you guys? Where are the riders in white? Where are those that were riding, the white riders? Where are those ones? Because they were annihilating us. You see, consistent in the sunnah of the Prophet, whenever the oppressed have no hope, except for the Master, Allah Rabbul Izzah will send help. So in whatever avenue of life you have, here's your next lesson, dear ones. Turn to Allah Rabbul Izzah. Turn to Allah. Turn to Allah. Turn to Allah. Ask Allah Rabbul Izzah. قال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم. Ask, I will respond. Allah Rabbul Izzah will respond. So if you're struggling financially, turn to Allah Rabbul Izzah. Allah Rabbul Izzah will open the doors of goodness for you. بإذنه تبارك وتعالى. Do your effort, exert yourself, tire your body in the process, but make sure your head and heart rely on Allah Rabbul Izzah, that Allah will provide. If you're going through family difficulties, turn to Allah Rabbul Izzah. If you're going through educational difficulties, our Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala used to say that every time I used to get stuck on a notion that I couldn't understand, it wouldn't open for me, I would fall down in sajda and make istighfar and continue doing it until Allah would open it for me. Do you see, the solution for all your problems is the quote of Allah Rabbul Izzah. And إِن يَنصُرْكُمُ اللَّهُ فَلَا غَالِبَ لَكُمْ. And if Allah should decide to help you, there is nothing that will overcome you. And if Allah were to decide to dishonor and disgrace you, there is none that will help you. What time is your Maghrib? So, 6 o'clock? So I will stop here بإذنه تبارك وتعالى, just in case brothers need to go make wudu and get ready. Unfortunately, time always runs a bit short, but I think the lessons are very meaningful and very important. The ones that have heard it, may Allah give me and you the capacity to be able to live meaningful lives in accordance to the Quran and the Sunnah. May Allah guide you, may Allah guard you, may Allah bless you, may Allah elevate you. For your time and patience, I thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.